Hi guys, I'm Sam from the Unity of Life and welcome back to my channel. And I know that was a little bit dramatic, but when you say the same thing over and over again for each and every video, you get a little bit bored. Anyway, welcome back, and we're going to be talking about the Drive to Survive episode 5. But hey, you already knew that because you watched the last video. So, if you've been watching this content, you will be aware that we have been talking about Formula 1. We started off with a very brief history of Formula 1, and then we worked our way through Season 1 of Drive to Survive. We've worked our way through Season 2 of Drive to Survive, and now we're on Season 3 in preparation for the 4th season. So all this that happened in Season 3 happened in 2020. Please remember that, because I know things have changed. And this episode is looking at Reynolds and Daniel Ricciardo, and we are. I might not be saying these things right. If I am saying people's names wrong, I do apologise. And it looks like we're also having a little bit of a look at Racing Point as well. So let's get into today's episode. And don't forget we are on episode 5, so this is halfway through the Season 3 series. And then obviously after this we are going to talk about some legendary females in the world of racing. So, Daniel, after having a few bad races back in 2020, he was driving for Reynolds. He decided then to move to McLaren for the 2020 race series. So I believe he was only with Reynolds for one race season. And I don't think he's with McLaren anymore. I could be wrong. So the team principal for Reynolds was quite upset that Daniel had decided to move, and I think part of the reason that he decided to go on another team was because of all the car issues that they seemingly having. So at this point, Racing Point was still under scrutiny for their car design, because you remember right back in the first episode of this series, a lot of teams were quite upset with Racing Point's car design because it looked an awful like a Mercedes car from the previous season of 2019. So obviously Racing Point were turning around and they were insisting that they did absolutely nothing wrong. They played it all by the book. And that the other cars and teams were just a little bit jealous and they were just picking on them for no reason. So a number of the teams had issues with Racing Point. However, I think Reynolds protested against the brake ducts, because with this sport being so complicated, there's rules for different parts of the car as well as what goes on in the. So for like the construction of the car, there's a set of rules as well as all the rules and everything that happens when they're actually racing. It's a bit overcomplicated, and I'm not 100% sure. So, just to, I don't know about anybody else, but if anybody's watched this, but it was a bit amusing that one of the Racing Point drivers, one of the team members, it doesn't specifically say it was a driver, but one of the team members showed up to one of the races actually in a Ferrari, so that's a bit of that gave me a little bit of a laugh, because obviously they're not part of Ferrari. Ferrari is not their team and they show up in one anyway, so it's a little bit of I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of a kick in the gut for the team that they worked for. So the FIA decided that they would fine Racing Point over their brake ducts. However, they were allowed to still use them, even though they had been fined. And Reynolds was not happy about this. So they weren't happy that this team has been fined because they shouldn't be using these brake ducts, but they're still allowed to use them, even though they've been fined over it. So Williams, McLaren and Ferrari, they all decided that they were going to join forces and they were going to appeal, complain, put up an appeal in against Racing Point because they didn't want the, they felt that they were at this unfair advantage, that even though they had been fined and they weren't really meant to be using these brakes, that they were still allowed to continue to use those brakes. And Mercedes, they didn't join in. They just said that Racing Point did a good job where others hadn't. And like I said, even though the car apparently looks like a previous Mercedes design, Mercedes didn't. They weren't too bothered, unlike the other teams who were absolutely outraged at this discovery. So Daniel actually had a good race with McLaren, but after having this good race, he wasn't sure if moving to McLaren had been the right thing to do, or if maybe he should have stayed and gave Renault a chance. I suppose that is one of the tricky things in this sport. Everything's a gamble. You've got to try and make the best decision for you. So I think some of the time when you're running off and you're switching teams, you are going to stop sometimes and think whether or not that was the best decision for you to do. If something goes wrong as well. But something hadn't gone wrong, intrinsically enough, at this point. He did rather well, and he had quite a good race, and yet he was still questioning this decision. Obviously, at this point in time, it was too late to do anything about it. It's not like he could switch back, and at that point in time, and, it wasn't as if maybe Reynolds would consider taking him back in the future, because he decided to ditch them and move on to another team. Who knows what was going on through his head or his mind at that point in time, but he certainly thought as that at some point that he did need to change his team yet again. This is only the third teams I've been with, but he was with Red Bull for quite a long time, and then only spent one season with Renault, and then moved to McLaren after that. So that's all I have for this video. I know it's been a little bit short, but if you've liked the content on which I have been sharing and you have not already done so, then why not? What are you waiting for? Here's my little lovely face down here. Click on it and you'll subscribe. And hit that notification bell and you'll be notified every Wednesday and Saturday when I upload a video. Because, don't forget, we're all in this fight together. We're all trying to fight for equality and diversity amongst people, and we're also trying to stop animal abuse, and I can't do all this on my own, and would really love and appreciate your support in all of this. Saying this, one way that you can support this is by sharing it with your friends, sharing it with your family, getting your friends to share it with their friends, and so on, because the more people this content sort of reaches, the better, because then we've potentially got more people to help fight the good fight, if you will. If you want to explore any more of the F1 content that I have covered on this channel, then click here. There's a playlist. You can watch all the videos, and I will see you in the next one, where we look at Drive to Survive episode 6 of season 3. Bye.